Welcome to 5 Minute Fridays. My name is John Putnam. In this video, I want to talk about how the soil improvement that we've done in this garden has changed this soil. I had somebody ask recently about how the water flows across this property in our Raleigh, North Carolina garden. Not a lot of slope here, so we don't have that, some of the difficulty others have with steep banks and slopes and that kind of thing. But it falls about 2 feet across this property. My goal in any landscaping project that I was doing in the past, whether it had slopes or whether it was fairly flat or whatever it is to be able to save whatever rainfall that we get. I want the soil to basically become a sponge over time. And the way that works is just keeping the ground covered with organic material. There's no magic to this. We're filming this on January 2nd. There's some leaf litter on the ground, as you'll see. We leave our leaves in the garden. We've used hardwood mulch. We've used wood chips in the past. We've used compost in the past. We've built basically we're in Raleigh here in central North Carolina and throughout what we call the Piedmont area that, runs from up in Virginia down through North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and even over into Alabama. There's a lot of clay soils and red clay. But I can take this shovel now and look how far I can put that shovel into the ground without hardly any effort whatsoever. And when I do this, we'll uncover some of that red clay down at the very, very bottom of it. But look how receptive this soil is to my shovel. First of all, I was able to put that down in the ground without virtually any effort at all. And what the earthworms have done, what the mycorrhizal fungi has done, the beneficial bacteria, the roots from the plants, all the things that we did, which was literally, there's no secret here. You cover the ground and make sure that water and other nutrients can't escape the lot, and then you plant pretty densely. We've done that as well, and those roots have helped, go down in there. But anywhere you dig in this garden now, unless you're hitting a root from something that was here previously or something that has really liked the space and is rooted all over the place, I can do that. I can take this shovel and I can put it in the ground just like I just showed you right there. The other thing is I can take this water. It's cold, super cold this morning, as I don't need to water anything, but I can take water like this and I can just stand here in the same spot and literally as fast as I'm throwing water at this, it will soak in the ground. So there's virtually, I don't know how much rainfall I would actually have to have in order for water to run from off of this property. Raleigh had what ended up being a very wet year last year overall, but it was hit and miss. We went 6 or 7 weeks without rain one time in the heat of the summer, and had to do some watering out here, but I had to do much less than other folks that have not amended their soil in this way, because any water I'm giving it is staying here on the property. It's getting deep down in the ground, and the plants also are able to get their roots down there to that water. So even if I kick the soil over to the side and go, wow, it seems a little dry, if I dig what I did with that shovel and go down there 10 or 12 inches, you'd still find moisture. So again, I can just keep throwing water at this. As soon as I turn it off, it immediately soaks down. I don't know how many inches of rain that would have been the equivalent to that I just put into that spot, but you can see it's almost gone already. Our normal, space, if I went and did this over here in my neighbor's side yard that's been mowed as very short, weedy grass over the years, the water would have just already been down at the street already. Any of the spaces that, again, the folks that have raked their leaves out to the road and had the city carry them off last week, those leaves are one of the things that will help with this. Those breaking down in the garden over time, they give a hiding space to, they regulate the soil moisture and allow the worms to stay here all the time. A lot of the places, a lot of the more compact places, you may have some earthworms up in the upper crust, but they're going to have to move when it gets dry. Having this deep of a of a spot here where we can maintain soil moisture allows those worms to survive in that space. They can go deeper when it's dry and hot. They can come up toward the surface when I do this. But you can see that water's gone again. It's just unbelievable how much water I can actually throw at this soil. I built a patio that's in front of me earlier this year, and it was built with the intent of also allowing water to get into the ground, so there's no mortar between. There's a mortar brick edge around the outside, but the center of it is, again, another place that water can just be thrown at it for a long time, and it'll just continue to soak down through those screenings or rock dust that I use to set those stones in. So it's water that's not making it into, it's not potentially flooding my neighbor. You know, as a city develops like Raleigh is here, you know, the more roof space and sidewalk space and hard impervious surfaces, the more impervious surface there is, the more likely we are to flood our neighbors who live slightly lower than we do, you know, downstream. So getting that water into the ground is not only good for my garden, but it's good for the way in which water is supposed to go into the ground and then move to our creeks and streams via, you know, underground movement. With our cities now, the way they are with the roads and everything else, we now just wash the water off and it runs directly into our creeks and streams and causes potential flooding. So it helps with that. It helps with our gardens. It helps us do, you know, need less maintenance overall. And it's also, all this organic matter that we're adding to the soil is improving it and storing carbon here in our gardens. And whether you grow vegetables or your future person living in that house grows vegetables or whatever it is, you will have improved that soil over the length of time you lived in the house, even if you not the one taking advantage of it. Maybe it's somebody else. So whether you have an 8,000 square foot lot or an 80,000 square foot lot, you know, you can improve that soil. You can be the steward of that space, you know, while you're in it, you know, improving it and putting it kind of back to what it was. If you think about the way the forest floor is out there, you have this chunky material on the top, you know, the leaves and sticks and limbs and that kind of thing. And then down below that, you get that black humus layer. And then down below that, you get whatever that native soil is, which in this case is that, you know, red clay that was here for, you know, whatever, tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. But the organic, you know, these trees and plants have built this other thing on top, which absorbs water, absorbs nutrients, doesn't allow it to wash off into the creeks and streams, and that kind of thing. So it's really a matter of just rebuilding what was already here before a builder came in here and scraped it all off and, you know, put the house in and did, you know, what they do in our garden. So I just wanted to show that off, you know, how it's very cold this morning. Otherwise I would have continued to water a little while longer. But you can see how much water I can put in a spot here 4 years into this project, you know, whereas the side lot over here that the city owns is the exact same kind of grassy, weedy, mowed space. When it rains over there, all that water washes down to the front, to the low area down there in ponds immediately. It looks like a space that would gather water, you know, collect water, slow water down. It's just not. The type of thing that really slows water down is chunkier organic material, wood chips, hardwood mulch, pine straw, leaves, bark mulches, whatever it is. Those are the types of things that allow for the soil moisture to stay consistent and then allow beetle larvae we may or may not want, and earthworms and all the other organic life to survive extremes of cold, extremes of hot, extremes of dry, extremes of wet, and then allows this soil to build like this over time. So there you go. I just wanted to show this off in one of these 5-minute Friday videos. Thanks for watching.